Does Lockheed Martin, or does anybody possess working anti-gravity technology right now? Or are we still trying to understand how these ET craft are working? Have we reverse engineered the technology at Roswell successfully? Which would mean some of the UFOs we're seeing now that are silent and hovering.
I've given you the Lazar tapes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's as far as I can talk.
Okay. That's good.
It's only because I got the Lazar tapes from a White World forum.
Right.
And
but you can't say anymore.
Well, people kept encroaching on Area 51, such that Area 51 is now being moved to Tooele, Utah.
But here's one thing. This makes sense to me. If you can cancel out gravity in a falling body, and you can even reduce a percentage of the effects of gravity for aircraft, it would take less fuel. They would be more efficient, and they could hover with less energy, and that much I can figure out.
And the atmospheric edge of the Earth will be meaningless. Mm-hmm. Would you like to see a picture of the nuclear-powered aircraft?
Oh, yeah. What's the date on this one?
I refuse to say, but there's the nuclear pile that actually flew.
That hunk of junk right there flew?
It actually was in the belly, providing...
Oh, that was in the belly of that.
That's right. It's just like in the belly of a submarine.
Providing anti-gravity. So it's shaped like an aircraft.
Well,
it's aerodynamic. So that we don't think that it's not using its wings.
Well,
I get it.
It has an energy source, okay.
I understand.
And it is staying in the and here's what it looked like down inside of the protective. It was.
And that's at Area 51?
No, much closer than we'd care to admit.
Oh, Texas. Well, I mean, Lockheed's of the contracts here was in the paper this morning. $27 billion in the last couple of years. Most of the majority of the defense contracts are here in Texas with Lockheed. I mean,
well, certainly. No. That's why I don't mind having a retirement from them. And here was one of the old-time developments.
Oh.
Now, I happen to know the guy who put that together.
Mm-hmm. How far does this date back? Mach 1.2?
I know it doesn't say, but in actuality, it's way, way back. The first, we must be at least 30 to 40 years.
And he won't say, that it was an alien craft. Obviously, I mean, it could have been something that was ours. But if we have anti-gravity, if we've developed anti-gravity at Lockheed or any level, secret level of the Black Ops, divisions of research, why aren't we using it in the world? Why doesn't the F-117 levitate? Or does the F-117 levitate?
Well, the key question from a physics point of view is a matter of another force. Mm-hmm. The question is are there more forces beyond the 4 or 5 forces that we're all acquainted with? Mm-hmm. The strong force, that's holding
the strong force, I understand that.
The strong force and weak force, electromagnetic force, and gravity. Well, we have been under some development recently where the astronomers have begun to analyze the motion of galaxies apart.
Right.
And we have identified that indeed the galaxies are being impelled apart. Mm-hmm. We used to say at increasing velocities. The recent data and the better data says that there's still a repulsing force. Well, a repulsing force is an anti-gravity.
It's stronger than gravity.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Newton says for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? Well, okay. If that's true, then I don't know. Don't let me get this thing lost, but if I let this fall on this carpet, mm-hmm. if I had concrete, if its elasticity mm-hmm. was the same, then the best that it could do would be to come back to the same height that I drop it from, right?
Right.
And if it came out higher than that, and then I would have been violated Newton's law of equal and opposites, right? Okay, I need your hand. This is a standard tube, and you're going to catch these. These are magnets. Okay, now do notice that this is copper. It does not care about copper at all. It is not like iron. This one just
straight through,
right on
less
through.
than a second.
And this one,
1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 4 seconds.
No, that's true. So now,
so you're canceling out gravity.
Well, by something that cares little about magnetism.
The two opposing forces in here.
It's a matter of what is the aluminum doing. Why does it care about moving electrons?
Right.
Similarly, over here, I have aluminum. I find that we're Sir Isaac Newton to be alive after Einstein, rather than the reverse.
Right.
Isaac Newton had a form of mathematics called the binomial expansion, where basically you can take anything that's mathematic, your sines, cosines, even the definition of pi, and you can put them in the expansion format. And if you add them all up, you get the correct definition of pi or sine and everything else. But it's usually meant for binomial expansion. If you really take Einstein's equation, it is a binomial. It is a binomial expression.
Right.
It's
mass and energy are equivalent.
If you do nothing more than shove that into Newton's series expansion, you will, and you multiply it like Einstein did, by m0c squared. You multiply every one of the series expansion by that. Mystically, the first term, which is 1, when it's multiplied times m0c squared, is the large force. The second one turns out to be kinetic energy. I mean, 1/2 mv squared, not c squared, because Einstein had v, and the c's cancel. It goes on ahead and basically shows that there are as many as 7 significant forces.
Really?
And the first, if you can include the kinetic energy, it turns out to be the first 5 we know.
Right.
The 6th, 7th, and 8th we don't know.
Right. So you're saying...
But we're taking the expression associated with the binomial expansion and taking a look at it. And it looks like that indeed we believe that anti-gravity is there, that it's one of them.
It's one of the forces, one of the...
But we have forces that are yet to be named. Up here, a picture of there's a rock up there. Next.
Yeah, I see that.
Well, that actually came whizzing past between the moon and the Earth about 5 years ago. It's going to come back again in 2029, yeah, 2029, and then it will come back and just between the Earth and Moon, and it will come back the next time in 2036.
So the orbit is decaying.
It will collide someplace between Siberia and Africa, and it will be a huge impact. Many, many, many megatons.
Bigger than Tunguska?
Don't know.
How big is that thing?
It depends on its velocity. But it's there. We know it. We're tracking it.
Oh my
God. I said, and number 6, veer its orbit.